Hi, Sean. Great to see you again. For everyone out there, Sean's been an amazing customer of OneKloudX for over a year now. We've been doing a fair bit of work for them in the optimization space, in helping them from a visibility standpoint, their dashboards, and how the users are interacting with the solution on a daily basis. How you going, Sean?
I'm really well, thanks, Robert. How are you?
I'm great. So there's a couple of questions I'd like to talk you through, because there's a lot of these sort of questions that that a lot of people who are looking at NetSuite as a solution and the actual solution provider as well. So I'd love to ask, what was it like before you had NetSuite, before you had our NetSuite consulting service?
Yeah, okay, sure thing. Well, look, before we found you guys and started, leveraging your company to support us, we were largely trying to get further with our own internal resourcing. And that was limited. That limited us in our ability to meet our timeframes and meet our requirements, because we only knew so much. Even though we are a tech company, our NetSuite expertise has its own, limitations. And we are actually quite a sophisticated business as well. And so we found that we had a number of projects that had not been delivered, hadn't been completed, and we basically, as a growing business, we needed to see them, delivered. And so we sort of went about looking for a partner that would be able to, augment and extend our internal capacity to bring on new expertise and to fast track the delivery of those projects.
Well, that's fantastic. What problems were you trying to solve with our NetSuite consulting service?
Sure. The problems that we had were that we'd put together some good fundamentals in our NetSuite implementation. We had our financials, but there were certain parts of our business, be it around our subscription management, our professional services, our purchase order workflows, even our customer order approvals, and expense management, that just weren't running at 100%. Some of them were up and running, but there were problems or issues that we faced, manual processes that we hadn't yet automated. And so those were the problems that we were facing when we were looking for a new partner.
Fantastic. Did you have any particular place where you started your search?
It's interesting, this question. We didn't find you as much as you found us. It was perfect timing, but Vikash actually sent me a LinkedIn email and introduced himself. And so as we were in this sort of painful experience, looking to reduce that pain and get some more success, what really made you guys stand out, and this might talk to one of your other questions, but what made you guys stand out is that you were a local provider that had demonstrated experience working with within businesses like ours that dealt with both professional services and other subscription management type requirements in the same sort of size or even larger organizations than us. And so when we sort of went to look at partners, I actually did search Google and obviously investigate, but we're quite a loyal customer. And so when I had a good conversation with your team, it became clear that we should meet and discuss in person. And the fact that we could do that, the fact that you resonated with our pain points and were able to confidently state your ability to deliver on those requirements, really made the decision an easy one.
Fantastic. So what was the obstacle that almost prevented you from working with us?
Um, I don't think I don't think that we had any particular obstacle. If there was one, it would have been the choice as to whether or not we engage with NetSuite directly with their professional services team and offering, or whether we worked with a, for lack of a better word, a smaller partner. And we had previously worked with the NetSuite professional services team. And whilst we got some success, it was a more difficult way to engage with a partner to deliver professional services and support and augment our team. They had a very descriptive, predefined way of wanting to work with us as a business that wasn't aligned with our existing competency and our technical expertise. And so we saw that there was a much better partnership offering working with OneKloudX. So I just remember us meeting, initially sitting down, having a coffee, and for me to get the vibe that I knew that we were going to be able to work together. That I knew that your team was going to really complement the way that we wanted to work. We'd learned the hard way, going and working with, NetSuite's professional services team, that, they wanted to go at that project in a very, very fixed, inflexible way. It was all about, we're going to do all these meetings, we're going to get this, we're going to document all of these things, we're going to send you all these emails back and forth. And it wasn't going to deliver an experience that was going to allow us to make the progress that we knew we could in the time frame we knew we could with the right partner. So it was going to be a slower, more arduous, more difficult engagement. When we sat down, I recognized straight away that your team was going to, come into a room with us, collaborate, ideate, come up with solutions on the fly, be flexible to pivot and move throughout the engagement to, meet our highest, our more time-based requirements, our highest priority requirements as quickly as possible, but to be able to pivot through that. And we didn't have all of the solutions. And so the whole notion of a waterfall approach to an engagement like what we needed was never going to work. That waterfall approach of trying to identify and scope everything up front, it's just like, we're a tech company. We don't approach software development or solution design in that way. Everyone knows that that doesn't work. And so, I just knew that we were going to be able to, operate in a much more effective way with your team.
Fantastic. Thank you for that.
Mm.
What's the main reason you would recommend our NetSuite consulting services to another potential client?
For other NetSuite users looking for a partner to provide a high-level expert consulting service to help them fast track their NetSuite implementation, to extract more value from their existing investment in NetSuite, I would definitely recommend working with OneKloudX. They have a small but expert team of consultants that are ready to adapt to your requirements, to work the way that you and your team and your company would prefer to work. That sort of flexibility and agile nature of engagement, I find, would be the biggest benefit to working with OneKloudX versus working with a more less flexible partner.
What particular feature sold you on working with us?
I think that, obviously, as I've spoken previously, the localized ability for us to develop a local relationship with a provider, the fact that your team was willing to actually work with us on site and collaborate in a really, in a modern, agile fashion, where, you know, we had our own project manager, we had our own, you know, I guess DBA and administrator that was able to, you know, partner with your consultants to, you know, work through those problems, do the business analysis together, and even contribute for our team to even contribute to part of the delivery in collaboration was really an excellent option for a business like ours. Secondly, I would say that there was a large amount of value add, the classic of we didn't know what we didn't know, that your team was able to bring to the table to suggest new ways that we can optimize the way that we're using the platform, you know, to better define our roles, our permission system, our dashboards, and even reports that as a business we may not have thought would have been of value, but have now become critical to our daily operations.